Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates. This week on the show, we revisit Jurassic Park, the original. So, grab hold of that electrified fence and get ready to chat.
Hey everyone, it is Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian, and today we are talking about Jurassic Park, 1993.
1993.
Oh my God.
Darn, I don't even know.
Well,
I know I saw it in the movie.
Same,
I know I saw it in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't know who I saw it with. And I remember it being so scary and amazing. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think, I'll have to do some research on this at some point, but I think this was one of the first movies that had this kind of technology. Am I right about this? It sort of mixes the...
That's, yeah.
It's
a mix.
The CGI with like... What, animatronics or something?
It's a mix of everything.
And I remember that being the big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that was the big deal. Like, oh my gosh, it's never been done on this scale before. Yeah. And everything is so realistic. And I remember seeing this movie and being like, this is so cool. Like, you could imagine seeing these dinosaurs and being super excited. I really loved this movie. I really, really loved this movie when I first saw it, for sure. I thought it was different than anything I had ever really seen. It was like a new thing, and I was very impressed. And I think even just seeing it in the movie theater was like even better. Super terrifying, and just all around awesome. That's what I loved about it. I loved it.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I remember seeing this in a movie theater, and I think it was funny, like, I remember really, really liking it. I don't think I loved it. I don't think it was really my type of, like, movie, like a monster movie, so to speak. I remember truly being, like, when the movie became, like, this thing. I mean, it was, everywhere you turn, there was some sort of Jurassic Park tie-in. Mm-hmm. And I think when it became this jillion-dollar movie, and it was so successful, I think it was really like, oh, okay, it wasn't that great. Like, let's talk about the first 35 minutes of this movie, which is all just science jibber-jabber. Mm-hmm. So I think I almost got a little bit of, like, I think I gave it my own little personal backlash, like, oh, it's not that great. Because you get a little... because the money, the box office was so crazy that I think it was like, well, let's not confuse, fandom with quality. Mm-hmm. But there's no denying, like, how amazing these special effects are, how amazing the dinosaurs look, and truly scary. I mean, and so for then, I really, really liked it in that moment. And then when it became something else with the sequels and everything else, it was like, okay.
The sequels weren't great. I don't remember. So it's so funny. There were 3 sequels, right? There was the Jurassic World is the most recent one.
Yeah, but even that has had more sequels.
But then even like there was the Lost World, right?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, the Lost World one, and then there was also, or was it just a total of 3?
So there's
because I know there was one with
Julianne Moore.
With New York. Like they come to New York.
Oh, really?
And I feel like that was like the 3rd one.
I don't even know which ones I've seen. I thought
you were going to be able to...
No, because I don't care. Oops.
Wow.
No, because I'm only focusing on this movie, because I don't know, like I saw part 2. Was it the Julianne Moore and...
Yeah, there's a 3rd. There's The Lost World.
Okay.
And then there's Jurassic Park 3, and then Jurassic World. Wait. Yeah. That's right. Oh, and then there's like fall or something. Oh my god, there's a lot of them.
This is why I don't even want to deal with it. But that's what I'm saying. I know.
So anyway, I think I saw like the first couple when they first came out, and then I wasn't impressed with either one of them. And then Matt had to remind me that we actually watched Jurassic World together, but I don't remember much about it. I remember a little bit about it. Basically the same story.
Yeah.
But I need to watch it again. I think Emily, we're going to watch it with Emily, Jurassic World. Anyways. So now.
When did you watch this?
So I watched this a few weeks ago.
Same, yeah.
Okay. And I watched it again with Emily and Matt.
Oh. Wait, you revisited it twice?
No.
Oh.
This is
you're the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, it's been a long day. I think we're all ready for a nap.
Oh my God. I was confused.
Don't be confused. So, for those of you who don't know, Emily's not a huge movie person, but we thought she would like this one. And so we forced her to watch it. And again, I told her she could watch like the first 45 minutes of it, and if she doesn't like it, then she could just move on.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if she doesn't really, she's not like a big movie person. But anyway, so we watched it, and I was very surprised at the general feeling of the movie. It wasn't scary to me anymore.
What do you attribute that?
I said it.
What do you attribute that to?
So the funny part was, so I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it didn't feel as suspenseful as it was in the past. It didn't feel, and looking at the dinosaurs didn't feel like, they didn't look that real anymore to me. And I think I'm attributing that to just the leaps and bounds that we have now on screen in terms of things like monsters and dinosaurs and things like that. I think it's a lot more realistic now. And looking at it, I'm like, wow, these dinosaurs are kind of fake now. And I didn't. And another part of it is, I knew what was going to happen, so I was like anticipating what was going to happen. The funny part about that is that Emily, I was a little bit nervous that she was going to be, upset about it. And, I was kind of gave her a little bit of warning. I'm like, it's a little scary. She doesn't like scary stuff, but she did watch A Quiet Place, which is scary.
Right, no, yeah.
But I also felt like it's similar to A Quiet Place because it's suspenseful and there's like big, weird monsters, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
She watched that because she's an Emily Blunt fan.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that was the drawing point. She basically laughed through the whole thing. She watched this movie almost as if it was a comedy. And I don't know if I should be disturbed by that.
Yeah.
Or proud. I don't know what it is. But it's like the scary stuff wasn't that scary anymore. Like even, I don't know, I think the dialogue and everything kind of overshadow the scariness.
I'm being so nice letting you have this moment.
Alright, go ahead and speak. Go speak.
You're out of your mind!
Did you find it scary?
Yes! Christina, this movie, I loved it. I was not bored. I wasn't bored at all. I was very entertained. Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Jesus. Because after this movie was over, the first thing I did was I looked up how many Oscar nominations it got. Because I was like, was this up for Best Picture? I loved this movie so much more than I did then.
Interesting.
I really did. I was like, this is so cool to look at. I love all the science garbage that was front-loaded. But at the same time, I remember that first chunk of the movie being boring. You see your first dinosaur 22 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not
the dinosaurs, right? The dinosaurs are only in this movie for 15 minutes. I think Spielberg does a great job, like splitting up those little bits of dinosaur excitement throughout the movie. Because 15 minutes, the movie's 2 hours and 6 minutes. That was the other thing. When we talked about watching this, I was like, oh, fuck, it's over 2 hours. I remember that. Yeah. And when I looked at it on Netflix, it was like 2 hours and 6 minutes. I'm like, this is a commitment. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to like it. And I could feel
Maybe that's why you like it so much.
But I loved it. And I'm telling you, that scene, the kitchen scene, how can you say you weren't scared? A little bit. So, okay, really quick. That kitchen scene, sure, you know the kids are fine. First of all,
right.
I have a lot to say. This movie tries... I wrote down the alternate title for this movie is Let's Kill Timmy. Timmy because to me almost dies like 11 times.
Over and over and
again.
over and over
So,
again. Yeah.
But here's the thing. So, the kitchen scene, and yes, I remembered. What I forgot was when they're crawling in the ceiling and the panel fucking falls out, right?
God.
And what I loved about this movie so much this time around, even more so than last time, is when I was younger, was it doesn't care that these are kids.
Right.
I loved it because it was like the panel falls to the ceiling and the girl is dangling, and as if that's not enough, there's a dinosaur
He's struggling
to jump up, and I'm like, oh my god, and I know that everyone lives, well, you know, that gaggle of people, but I didn't remember quite what they go through necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And this is done so well, just the timing, like bit by bit by bit. I will say, to your point about the fake-looking dinosaur, I felt it once, and it was. And this movie is a marvel, like a visual thing. I mean, is that the one that eats the plants right near the? Yeah, because that is and that is a physical costume.
Yes.
Like I think in real life it's 6 feet tall, and it's just truly someone moving it closer to them.
Yeah,
and
and
that looks
really
fake.
That looked really.
That looked pretty fake.
I liked the one. Was it Triceratops?
I don't know.
The one, you know. How do you not know the names of all these dinosaurs? The Triceratops is the sick one.
The sick one, beautiful.
That one was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was outstanding. Even now.
Yes, and I think that took like 8 people to operate.
Yes, and I believe that, and it was clear, and that was a real close-up picture of a dinosaur, and it really was great. But I just felt like the other ones, and let me make this perfectly clear.
Sure.
I loved this movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I agree. It was so entertaining. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just didn't find it terrifying like I used to.
Sure. Okay.
I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Yeah.
But the dinosaur, I felt like the T-Rex, something about it was very mechanical now, as opposed to what I felt when I first saw it. And same with the other ones, the Velociraptors. Those were also seemed better than the T-Rex. Mm-hmm. They were definitely less robotic.
The ones in the kitchen.
Those fuckers. Oh my god. Those smart. That was the scariest part. I remember back then watching it. The scariest moment of that whole freaking movie is when you see that they learned how to open the freaking door. Yeah. And the doorknob. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, you know that they're smart, but that was just crossed the line. Those things were so terrifying. I didn't even know what they were before I saw that movie, and now that's like the scariest. That's more scary than a T-Rex. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was thoroughly entertained, and yes, I agree. It was really, really well done, and I would absolutely watch it again. I could watch it again today and still be just as entertained. And I didn't feel the same way back then as you did about the first 20 minutes. I felt like I liked that beginning part. The only thing that was a little bit annoying was I felt like Laura Dern's character was a little bit grating, just a little bit, because she was always almost just always smiling, always. And she actually, I think I had that same criticism in The Mask. Yeah. But she was always giggling and just making fun of her. It was a husband, or I forget if they were married.
That's unclear to me.
That is unclear.
That is the boyfriend girlfriend.
I kind of feel like they weren't married.
Yeah.
But obviously in a committed relationship.
Yeah, because Jeff Goldblum's touching her hair and stuff.
Oh my god, he was I loved his character.
He was a cool character.
But anyway, in the beginning I just felt like she was these silly jokes. Someone said something about children, and she's like, small adults. Just sort of annoying in that way. She grew on me. It was just the beginning. I didn't really love her.
Do you like her now?
I love her. Oh my god,
you do love her.
I love her. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and it's never about her acting. I love her acting.
Yeah.
It's really the character that I'm talking about. I love Laura Dern. She's fantastic. What else?
So just going back now and then. So we're just, shallow dives as we know. So I have just a question. So I said a lot of nice things. I really loved it. I was still scared. I think, with the exception of that one tree eating thing that's super up close, the rest of it was so beautifully done, really realistic,
The park itself is gorgeous.
Oh my god, it was awesome.
The park itself is gorgeous. And I loved the whole beginning when they learn, like, the whole process, like how they go on the tour. Mm-hmm. And they're, like, in the tour, and you actually learn the process as there. I love that whole, that was a nice little way to
It was thought,
do that.
Yeah, it was thought out. I will say, would you ever trust Nedril with anything in the first place?
Who's Nedril?
Newman. Is that his name, Nedril?
Is that his name?
Nedril?
Oh.
That's what I have down.
I just wrote down Newman.
Oh, okay. Newman, yeah. So I just wrote, I want to see that job interview. He is such a clod. So you talked about, like, you weren't scared or whatever. Like, I think even though I remembered his trajectory and how he meets his end,
yes,
I was like even back then, it was like, he's not a real threat to this park because he's so bumbling. He's so, like, he's bumbling.
Yeah,
like, there's no, all he's going to do is fuck something up. Like, he's not, like, a villain. He's just a bad con artist.
He's a jerk.
But I don't even know, would you have hired him for anything? Like, that's what I mean. Like, how did he even get the job?
So, my understanding is he is super smart in his field, and, like, he's the only one who's able to do his job and, like, all the computer stuff. So he must be that's probably the only reason why they hired him.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he wants to get paid more money, and there's been some discussions there, and obviously the old guy is, like, annoyed with him.
Yeah.
But he is kind of bumbling and a slob.
Yeah.
Kind of a slob.
Yeah.
And not likable at all.
No.
It's just a jerk. Even, like, when he's in, like, he's meeting the guy, like, in, like, wherever he was, India or wherever he was, meeting the other guy.
Yes, yeah.
Did you see what he did? He has this shaving cream.
Yeah.
And he puts this shaving cream, like, there's a tray of food for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, somebody else's table.
Oh, and he puts it as, like, whipped cream.
And he puts shaving cream on top of the pie.
Yeah. So gross.
So it looks like whipped cream for no reason.
Yep.
So just an asshole and bubbling. And no, I would never hire him, but it seemed like he was the only one that was able to do this, which is problematic.
Yeah. Well,
you can't hire someone you can't have one person
that knows the job. This guy keeps saying, the owner keeps saying, I spared no expense. It's like, really, I think you saved $1 on Newman over there. Because he's the only person that can do these things, and he's not trustworthy at all.
At all. And this is like, I mean, this isn't just like a zoo. I mean, you're raising dinosaurs.
Right.
Like, you probably should have a little bit more security here. In fact, I thought it was really funny. I have it down here somewhere. I have a bunch of notes. At one point at the end, where is it? Oh my god. At the very end, they have, at the very end, no, so not at the very end.
Yeah.
They know they have to shut down everything and restart the systems.
Yes.
There's like 3 switches to do this. Doom.
Wait a minute. She has to... Okay.
No. This is to shut it down. This is to shut it off.
Oh, okay.
So this is like... These are the electric fences that hold the dinosaurs in.
Place, yeah.
So they decide they have to shut everything down and then turn it back on to reset the computers, which is how I solve every problem in my life. Just shut it off and turn it back on.
Yeah, rebooting.
So this is what they decide to do. In order to shut everything down, these electric fences that are holding in these man-eating dinosaurs, there's literally like 2 switches and a button. It's not in a locked cabinet.
I know. It's like
there's no combination or keys or anything.
It is truly like a fuse box in your basement. It's like click, 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 click.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then they turn it back on, which is great. But then she has to go to this shed in the middle of the park. In the middle of the park.
That's fucking scary, though. You were scared by that?
Oh my god, I was totally scared by that. But it was just, I'm just saying, it wasn't the
as scary.
And I thought it was very telling that Emily was laughing through the whole thing. Now, I will preface this by saying...
Was it broad daylight? Were you watching it in the day?
No, it was at night.
Really?
Yeah, it was at night. God. It was like, it was Saturday night or something. But I will say, at one point, so it was after the lawyer guy died.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said because she was looking a little bit nervous.
Okay.
And I said, Emily, just so you know, I just want you to understand that none of these main characters are going to die. Like, I wanted to let her know that ahead of time, just so she wasn't too worried. So that might have gotten rid of a lot of, like, the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want her to think that the kids are going to die or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a bit much. So I think that definitely took a layer off. But she was laughing at, like the dinosaur chasing scene with the mirror. She laughed at that. She thought that was hilarious. The car falling through the tree. Yeah. She thought that was really funny. Just a lot of these things she thought was really funny. She was cracking up at the Jeff Goldblum character, who was funny, but she thought he was hilarious.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we're going way off the rails here.
No, but it's all relevant. I mean, because we're talking about like the fear factor of this. I think that the scene, I wrote this whole thing is insane. And I wrote Timmy under the truck.
Oh
the truck spinning all around. Jesus Christ. Like, I admire this movie for not giving a shit about the terror it puts children through. Because what it does, it's saying like, oh, there's no rules here. Because all the power is out, going back to the earlier point.
Chaos.
There is chaos. This is chaos, and it is,
that's what Jeff Goldblum's character kept talking about.
You're not prepared. And when you behave this way, when you don't think about these things, anything's on the table. And like, this little kid is stuck under the truck. And then when he gets him out of the truck, just the dinosaur tail hitting that truck just even a little bit. And I really loved how the timing of the tail with the moving of the truck, and then it's going and then that's not enough. It has to go over the cliff. I was so into it. I was like, I love how this movie doesn't give a shit about like, no, we're probably gonna kill you right now. And like, and I was truly scared. I really was like, scared is probably the wrong word, but I was really excited all over it.
I was excited over. Yes, absolutely. It's not like I was bored watching it. I loved all those scenes, but I feel like I appreciated them so much more now because I didn't have that fear factor. Like,
so you can actually watch it,
and I felt like that was why Emily was able to enjoy it too, because you could just sort of know that he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But just appreciating all.
Has she ever said, "Don't tell me that"? Like, you're like queen of spoilers to her. Have you said?
I know, Emily. She would have been
okay.
Yeah, she would have left. She wouldn't have watched the rest of the movie because she's not going to like sit through something that she thinks is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved all of that. It was. I just thought it was really funny, but I liked how it. See, I really appreciated the comedy that was in the scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like the little things, like the kids. You hear the dinosaur coming. That's so terrifying, right? That was terrifying. You hear the dinosaur coming, the big steps. You see the water get jiggle, all that, right? And then he shows up, like unexpectedly. Like you see him pretty close, unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Sam sitting there, and he tells Malcolm, "Don't make a move. He sees from movements." And then the very next scene is the kids with the flashlight flying, they're jumping all over the place. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then even when the dinosaur is like pushing the car around and spinning it around, then it flashes over to Malcolm in the car is all fogged up, and he's like, he has to wipe off the fuzz, the condensation in order to look out, and like, it's just. That kind of thing really made me laugh. Like these kind of going back and forth. Even the dialogue with the tree, the kids in the tree, and it's like, oh my god, now the tree's the car is falling out of the tree, and like, Jesus Christ! I remember being so scared when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And then it falls, and then Timmy's like, "Great, we're in the car again." Like, I appreciated those moments a lot
more
now.
Even that with the electrified fence thing, when he's climbing down, and they keep going, "It's okay, Timmy. Timmy, gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine." He gets electrocuted. Like, there is a humor. Like, there is a humor in that where it's like, oh my god, they don't care.
They don't, but that's what's so great about this movie, though. It goes from one extreme to another. It's, they're climbing over the fence. Everybody's fine. All of a sudden, you see the light go on, and it starts blinking, which is a nice little warning, convenient warning, but that's fine. Blinking, and you see her. It goes back to her in the little shed. Okay, we have 25 things to show. Okay, button on. And I did like that she didn't, it was a little slow, but it wasn't like super slow, it was like a normal pace.
Yeah.
She's being precise with it. Button on. And then it pans down to the electric fence. You know it's coming quick. And then he knows it's happening. And, okay, let's go. And he's afraid. You're like, go, just calm down. And it's very stressful.
Well, you kind of forget. You know they're not going to kill a kid, but you kind of forget. Like,
but you're like, what the hell?
How does he actually make it down okay? Or, does he get a little zapped? And he gets zapped.
He does get zapped. Bad. He goes flying up. But then, remember what he says? He goes, okay, 1, 2, and then it goes, zzz, and then and then he gets flown off the fence. He gets knocked off unconscious. Do they do CPR? I think they do a little bit of CPR on him. And then he wakes up, and he opens his eyes.
He is
3.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is so good. It's so good. The writing is fantastic.
I love that 3 thing. I definitely didn't catch that the first time around. I'm sure my mind was elsewhere back in '93. I will say, so I said nothing but positive things except for Neill, but there were some parts where I'm like, that could have been trimmed. Like the helicopter descent. I was like, you're just dragging this out. That was not interesting. It wasn't exciting.
It wasn't, and I think they probably intended it to be
delay
so that, but it didn't work, I don't think, the way it should have worked.
Yeah, but I feel like I was bored both of those times with that helicopter ride.
But it was fun, even like the tour, when, you're like, and I remember having that, like, oh my God, I want to see a dinosaur. Because there was so much talked about this movie before it came out. There was a huge hype about it. Mm-hmm. And then you're all in and you're on this, like, now you're in a tour. You've seen the baby dinosaurs. Super cute, right? When they got hatched or whatever. Yeah. Convenient, but cute. And then you're on the tour, and you're right there in that Jeep with them. Like, where the hell are the dinosaurs? I want to see the dinosaurs. And it is like, disappointing. You're like, Jesus Christ, I just want to see a goddamn. But then Malcolm, I love Malcolm. He knocks on the camera. He's like, hey, are there going to be any actual dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour? I like his lines were fun.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like, but you know what? We talked about this in other movies where like the big moment you're waiting for is until like an hour in. Like the first thing you see, 22 minutes in, you see the Jeep scene, the big sweeping vistas of the dinosaurs everywhere. But what this movie does a great job at is like making those waiting scenes, even when nothing ends up happening, very suspenseful.
Yes, yes. I forgot that was
suspenseful. Because like you're there and you're waiting, like, oh God, because you see the goat and like, you know what, all I can picture is like this goat being ripped apart like really fast, but it doesn't even happen.
No, he just
sits down,
waiting,
and it's like, oh God, nothing's gonna happen. And then even when they're like, oh, there are going to be dinosaurs on this thing? Yeah. And you think that's when the dinosaurs are going to jump out. But then that doesn't happen. Yeah. So I really appreciated a lot of this timing in this movie.
I did too. I liked it too. That's what I meant. That was my point. Like, I thought it was great.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was nice and suspenseful. You were like right along with them.
When you said right along with them, I thought you meant bored.
Oh, no. I mean, just, anxious to see the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. The scene when they saw the Brachiosauruses, was that before the tour or after? I forget the timing.
When the one's eating the tree next to them?
No. I mean, when they first scene, when they see the dinosaurs for the first time.
That's before.
Because
they're talking about.
Because she saw the plant.
Yeah, because they're getting out of the Jeep, and then like, yes, welcome to Jurassic Park. So then they get put into the vehicles because the T-Rex is going to be there. Like, you have a T-Rex? So that's all before.
Okay, okay. I really liked that. I liked the first that first scene when you see it. And I really felt their excitement as paleontologists and being like, holy crap. Like, they're so surprised. Excited. And she's really baffled by the plant that's in her hand because she's an herbologist, right? So she's like, I don't understand, like, this plant has been extinct, since the Cretaceous period, and then he's like, turns her head, and you just see, like, they're just in such awe, and then they're like elated, and she's like, they travel in herds, like, and like all these years of like studying and not having this concrete thing to prove. I mean, I felt that elation with them. That was really, really cool to see. And then, of course, when the sick dinosaur was kind of cool, too. So.
Well, because she also brought up the plants, too. She's like, they're eating these plants. Like, and so you kind of think the movie's going to go in a different direction, too. Like, it's like, are they dinosaurs being mistreated? Is that why one revolts? But they're ultimately just, crazy-ass dinosaurs. Like, Because she talks about the plants.
Well, I think that scene served a great purpose because it really showed how little they know, and because she said these berries are poisonous, and then he said, "Oh, they're not eating them," and then she's like, "Well, there's only one way," So like, it's really one of those things where you understand how little they know about everything.
Yeah, because that dinosaur was getting sick. Once a month. Was that what they said?
Something like
every
that,
blank number of days. And it was like, are they going to say that it's like a dinosaur getting its period, basically? Yeah. Was that what you thought, or no?
I did not think that. That didn't cross my mind.
That was my first thought. Like, okay, it gets sick every, X number of days. It's strange.
No, I didn't really think that. But I remembered her having to dig through all the droppings.
Yes. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Let's see. I have that Newman was so irresponsible, shutting off the power in the security fences just to open the gate, and then keeping the gate open. You couldn't even shut the stupid gate. I was so glad to see him die. I know, and I'm not really like that.
That part. So really quick, that scene where the dinosaur kept like staring at him and like kind of like smiling and being weird.
Yeah.
I remember truly then watching that through fingers, like through my fingers, because I was so like, I don't trust this. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be rough.
You knew something was happening.
Yeah, and this time around, I was so glad to know, like, to kind of remember what happens, and. Yeah, but it's still scary. That dinosaur was creepy. It's
those little ones that you think are so friendly.
Yeah,
and then they like
spastic. Spastic.
Yeah.
Again, I have Timmy really quick. The bones fall on him, and the thing. He goes from the truck, the fence, the electrocution, the bones falling on him. I have.
All these near misses, like a million near misses for him.
Yes.
He was a good little actor.
He was good. Yeah, that's kind of all my notes. I mean, I loved it. I just want to say, the Laura Dern, I think they were originally talking to Robin Wright, but she wasn't interested. And Sam Neill, I think it was a typical cast of, Harrison Ford.
There were no locks on the doors to the car. And then it says, why did he get out of the car? I don't know what that's from. Oh, maybe the lawyer guy. That was funny. Emily laughed at that, too.
Oh, one thing about the lawyer, and it's a very early note, is like, I was hoping he'd be more imposing, instead he was just annoying. Like, I felt like this... No, Donald, the lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, he's just kind of annoying. Like, there's no real human threat other than the bumbling Nedrel or whatever his name is. I think that's his name. But I kind of wanted the lawyer to be a little more solid of a character. Mm-hmm. I did like more the guy that joins Laura Dern when she has to go to the
Oh, yeah.
I liked him. I felt safe with him.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't with everybody. Like, he was the only one that... He understood how dangerous they all were. He had a gun, for one thing. One of the things I wrote down here is when they're in the control room and they're trying to start up the system, and the little girl's in there now trying to help, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I know the system, which was a little bit...
convenient.
I mean, seriously, people, again, this is like a park with dinosaurs in it. You shouldn't have a system that's well known to everyone. It just shouldn't happen. But anyway, so they're holding the door. They can't reach the gun, right? Do you remember this? The dinosaur's trying to get in. They're trying to get the gun. They can't reach it. She's sitting there at the computer trying to figure out how to do the doors. Timmy is right on her shoulder like this. Can't Timmy get the gun?
I thought the same thing.
Can't Timmy get the fucking gun?
Yeah. Kick the gun over.
Kick it over, do something.
Yeah.
Well, why are you just on her shoulder?
Yeah.
So that was like annoying.
Yeah, he's like, go sis.
It was the security, like the whole security system thing was like the most like annoying out of every, like those are my critiques.
We're going to go there. I mean, also, even when you're talking about larger and turning back everything on, I mean, it was almost like done for like dummies. Because it's like,
right.
Front gate. Like, it's a T-Rex. Like, I mean, I guess maybe you want it to be labeled that way, so it's not a guessing game. But to your point, it's like, I think even if you broke in and didn't have a degree in computer science, I think you'd be able to figure out how to shut these things on and off. Like, and it's very dangerous.
Yeah. Yes.
To have that power.
I mean, not a ton of security in a very serious park. Do you want to take a quick
100%.
break? Okay, let's take a quick break.
Watch her.
Me too. And we will be right back.
Cool.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back discussing Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park from 1993. Wanted to talk a little bit about the cast, a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I thought Jeff Goldblum was great.
Yeah.
I thought he was a good character. I remember when I first watched it, I thought he was a bit annoying.
So my note was for then with him was I wrote down, I remembered him being sleazier, much sleazier.
But he was actually funny, and he made a lot of sense when he was talking. Maybe I understood it more now. I mean, I wasn't that young.
It was a little weird with the shirt, like he was shirtless for so long in that scene.
Yeah, I know.
They kept cutting back to him. It was
must have been in his contract.
Yeah.
And I loved Laura Dern in it. I know I had problems with her character at the beginning, but I did love her. Right. And I like when she's stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like that strong.
I understand.
Yeah. And then I actually liked the Sam Neill character. I thought he was very convincing as an archaeologist.
My first note is Sam Neill is great. I remember, but I didn't like him way back when because I wanted him to be more interesting, more exciting. But it's like, no, it's much more interesting that he's not interesting.
Yes,
like
100%.
This is his job. He spends his day digging out things out of sand all day. Like how he's not going to be this high energy guy.
Very believable.
And he's put into this crazy situation, and I appreciate his performance so much more now.
Absolutely, he stood out more as not being a standout now.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
So clever! Oh, so clever, Christina.
Thank you so much.
So clever.
Thank you. Finally. And Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
What's funny about him is I'm watching this movie and I thought, oh my God, he reminds me so much of Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But it was him. It was very, he's smoking the whole entire time, which was hilarious. But I liked his character. Like, it wasn't necessarily needed.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was a very minor character.
Well, you wanted the owner, the grandfather guy, to have someone with a brain on his side. Like, he had the brawn. He had the guy's name was Robert Muldoon, the character's name, with a gun, who accompanies Laura Dern's character. But then
the only one I would trust.
The only one I would trust to give me a tour of Jurassic Park.
100%.
But then you have, he needed a fellow smarty to help him, who wasn't judging him, because Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character, is very smart, but it's very judgy. He's like, you didn't think of this, and it's always with a little like
a little bit, yeah.
Like a knock.
He's supposed to be a little like
for
comic relief or whatever,
but he also is the one that says like, you know, his big scene is like, you know, you thought to think if you could, you never stopped to think if you should.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good
so it was like the voice of consciousness.
But I also, you know, what I really appreciated about this movie too is like the whole premise of this guy getting these people to the park is to get an endorsement.
Yeah.
And I loved how from the very beginning, they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. All three of them. All three of them are like, have you thought about the consequences of this? Yeah. How are you supposed to? And it was like, it wasn't even, like, even though they were so excited about it and it was so, like, overwhelmed and in awe of what they're seeing, and obviously, like, they could use this to their own, you know, research and all that. Even all of that aside, they were like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, they knew better.
I'm not endorsing this. Yeah. And I really liked that. Like, they could have done it a different way. They could have had one of them saying, oh no, this is great.
Yeah, right.
But all three of them were like, nope. And even in the car, or was it the helicopter or somewhere, he's like, I can't believe it. I called all of you experts in here, and the only one that's endorsing me is the bloodthirsty lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, and he's ironically the one that ends up getting killed.
Right.
But I loved that. I loved that they were like the voice of reason. And from the very beginning, they're like, you shouldn't.
I loved a lot of those little conversations. Again, back in '93, was not that into it. This time around, it's like, I like that there was some thought.
Yes.
Even like the frog DNA and the mosquito. And,
yeah.
and stuff. It's, you know, it makes it
I remember that
it's
from
enough.
before.
Oh, I didn't remember that. It's enough
that.
To go on. It's enough for me to to say sure and go along with this journey, you know?
So, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate it this time, because I think back then you were so preoccupied with when is this next dinosaur going to show up? Who's going to be next? Like, why are you having this conversation right now when this dinosaur's on the loose? Like, you know, like I couldn't concentrate on the conversations as much. Now knowing what's going to happen, you can. And you appreciate it more. All right, anything else?
Good stuff. I mean, no.
I like the surprise ending with the T-Rex saving the day. It's cheesy, but really, like, I thought it was like.
But I don't think he was saving them. I think he was just being a T-Rex.
He was just being a T-Rex, but then it ends up. Oh no, of course not. They're not like, it's not like walking and going, oh, these people are in trouble. No, he just came in to eat a dinosaur.
You said saving the day,
He does save the day. I didn't say it was intentional.
What you should have said is...
Oh my god. I hate it.
Inadvertently saves the day. Accidentally saves the day.
Okay, fine. I forgot the
No, someone's listening to this thing like, does Christina think the T-Rex... Christina,
no one is thinking that.
We get emails.
No one is thinking that. I get the same emails you get. This is not something that was said or thought of. I just thought that was great because you're not sure how they're going to escape. They're surrounded by these velociraptors, and it was very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's it for me. I
honestly think that it's it for me too. But I will say, based on this movie, first of all, I said it before, I'll say it again, I would definitely watch it again. Because I feel like even as much as I picked up this time, I feel like there'd be even more that I would pick up on if I watched it again. But I am actually interested in watching Jurassic World, even though it's not as good of a movie.
Is that which one? Is that Chris Pratt?
This is the one with Chris Pratt that I've seen before, but I don't remember any of it. Okay. But I'm excited to see it with Emily, and I'm curious to see what her opinion is. Because she's a Chris Pratt fan, so she's probably going to like Jurassic World better. But I'm just curious. And would you end up recommending it? It sounds like
100%. I don't, but at the same time, I feel a little differently than you. I will not be watching any other Jurassic Parks. It didn't invigorate me for the series. It made me it made me really appreciate and love the movie more.
I'm only watching it for Emily's sake.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, it's not for me. If it wasn't for Emily, I wouldn't want to watch it again.
And Christina, thank you for looking at me like that when you said that, as if you're ready to kill me. You had just daggers in your eyes when you said that to me. I hope Emily's listening to this.
I hope she is too. I hope she learns from my daggers. I just don't want you putting words in my mouth.
Oh my god.
Like you always try to do. Okay, so
right.
we have some questions.
And by the way, it's Nedry. I kept saying Nedrol. It's Nedry.
So
Wayne.
Stupid.
What's his name? Wayne?
No. White Knight.
Wayne Knight, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, let's go.
Questions. So do you have a question?
I have a very cheesy match game.
Alright, and I have a question.
Okay. Do you want me to go first? Mine's super cheesy. I stole it from Match Game about Bigfoot. So,
okay.
alright, so I'm paraphrasing, but the gist is the same.
Okay.
The question is the same. I'm just switching out a couple words.
Say it.
T-Rex is so big.
How big is he?
After he goes to the bathroom, he doesn't have dingleberries. He has dingle blanks.
Oh. Alright.
I'm not helping you. Yeah.
No, but dingleberries is supposed to be like poop, right?
Well,
is that what you're
dingleberries
saying?
is like the poop that. Yeah. Like it's.
Right.
No.
I've just never heard it called dingleberries before.
You know what dingleberries are?
Well, now I do.
No, wait, but maybe you don't know what they are. They're like the little. Oh, jeez.
Oh, is it like when you're constipated, you have little poops?
No, they're like the poops that maybe stick to the sides of your. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad we had this conversation.
My God.
Right, so instead of dingleberries, oh my God, he has dingle.
And I just want to say, in my defense, this was in the Alec Baldwin match game. They had Bigfoot, and they said Bigfoot doesn't have dingleberries. They have he has dingle blanks.
Well, I'm just gonna write this one and see if this works. I'm not sure if that definition helped me. Oh, I think I spelled this wrong. Whatever. Did you?
I'm looking up the definition.
Well, I thought you were playing this game.
A particle of fecal matter attached to the anal hair of an animal.
Alright, so thank you so much for sharing. So it's not dingleberries, it's dingle.
Remembering how big he is, Christina. That's the key.
You know what? I get it. I've played this game before. I hate you guys.
Alright.
Ding.
T-Rex is so big.
How big is he?
After he goes to the bathroom, he doesn't have dingle berries. He has dingle blanks.
Watermelons.
Oh, damn! I put cantaloupes.
Oh, okay. So same idea. I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Watermelons are
Maybe
bigger.
a bit bigger, yeah.
Than cantaloupes.
All right.
So good one. I like that question. It's a good question.
Your question?
So my question is, you have been offered a tour of Jurassic Park, and you can choose your tour guide. This is basically in the time that you know.
Sure.
And we'll just say, just for shits and giggles, the electricity is out.
Okay.
So no fences. So who would you prefer as your tour guide?
Okay.
Would you prefer John Hammond, who is the old guy?
Yeah, the owner.
Dennis Nedry, who is Newman from Seinfeld? Or would you just prefer to have no tour guide at all?
I mean, when you set it up like that, with like the darkness and the power outage and all that, okay, this is going to be controversial. Oh, wait. Did you write down your answer? Did you?
Yes.
That was my
I heard that.
I wonder if it come out on the radio. I know. It was on the radio.
I'm keeping it in.
So, that was my stomach on the podcast. So, here's my answer. And you have to hear me out.
And I have my answer. Okay.
Oh, Nedry. Here's why. Because he wants out
Okay.
He doesn't give a shit. He's like, I'll leave the fucking gate open. I don't care. I want out. And here's what. I can run faster than him. I'm stronger than him. And if he got, God forbid, there's a dinosaur, I'm sorry, they're going to eat him. And I'll keep running.
So you don't think he's going to be like lead you astray so that they eat you instead of him?
That ain't going to happen. Christina, the point is...
I kind of feel like he would do that.
He wants out. I want out too. We have a shared goal. I think Hammond would be like, let me just watch these majestic creatures.
Yeah, Hammond is the worst
He
choice.
can't get out of his own head. And I certainly don't want to be alone. It'd be terrible. I don't know my way around the park.
I thought you would choose alone.
It's either alone or Nedry.
I think I would choose to be alone.
Jesus.
I'm pretty confident in my survival skills.
Oh my God.
And I would not trust Dennis. I don't feel like he would lead me in the right direction. I think he would lead me astray in some way or another.
Oh my God.
Because he is so,
I'd be so scared. I don't think I could even move. I don't think I'd be able to move.
You'd move. I wouldn't want to be walking around in the dark. Imagine at night.
But you just set it up. Isn't that what you said? No power?
With no power. I didn't say it was at night. I would say no.
Oh my God.
What I meant was no power because the fences would be not on.
Oh, God. It was going so well when we were both loving this movie.
We're
do we want to do the FMK or no? We're not doing the FMK.
We can do it if you want. If you figured it,
Well, it's alright. It's easy enough. So, Ian Malcolm. So, either Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Sam Neill.
Okay.
These are always the characters. And Robert Muldoon, the guy with the gun, who goes with Laura Dern's character.
Interesting.
FMK. Let me write down what I think you're going to say.
FMK.
Oh shit, this is tough actually.
It is kind of tough.
I wrote them down. But I'm going to write down mine.
Alright, I think I know. Are you writing it down?
Oh God.
Alright. Jeez, it is kind of tough though.
It's actually very tough.
Alright, so I guess I would... I'll just go with my original.
Yeah.
I'll marry Sam.
Okay.
I will F Malcolm.
Yeah, I got it right.
Really? Oh, good. I was thinking about marrying Malcolm, but I don't think he's trustworthy. He's been divorced like 1,000,000 times. I just think he would be fun to hang out with. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he would be fun to hang out with. And I feel like Sam isn't very fun. So that's why I was like on the fence about those two. But in the long run, I think Sam would make a better husband.
Okay.
And then poor Tim guy, whatever. I mean, wait, his name's not Tim.
Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, Timmy's the kid. That's what I said exactly for you. So I was right. But mine's different.
You would marry the gun guy.
I'd marry the gun guy because
I know.
First of all, I think he's handsome. Second of all, I think like he's resourceful. He can get out of jams, and and he knows his way around. Like I think he cares. And I like his accent. Then
yeah.
I think I would actually F Sam Neill, and I would kill Jeff Goldblum. I
think he'd be so boring.
Oh my God. Well, I think I just don't. I don't.
As long as you don't mind missionary, it's fine.
I don't find Jeff Goldblum all that attractive.
I don't find him super attractive, but I think he would be fun. Like, he would be interesting. He just drink a lot, and I think it would be fun.
All right.
I mean, Sam...
You know what we didn't even mention?
What?
This soundtrack is a special place in our heart.
Oh my God! How
did you think about that? Oh my God! The first time I heard the music, I was like, "Wait a minute! I totally forgot this part of our lives." So when we went to Jordan's Furniture, this was the music they pumped through the speakers in the Motion Odyssey movie ride.
Yeah,
we heard that soundtrack 15 times a day.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily, just over and over and over again.
And then what was the movie Red Rock Run? Which
yes!
was sort of a knockoff.
That was cool. Yeah, that was a fun one. I was sad when they got rid of that. I liked that one. That was better than the original Mom sometimes.
And that music was reminiscent.
Yes, for sure. And what's funny about the music that you mentioned it is Emily was like anticipating the music. Like, where is the music? Like, where is the music? She asked that several times, and I'm like, I don't know where it comes in.
Yeah.
And then and she's like, oh, there it is. Like, it was funny. Like, she had that interest.
Cool.
Anyway, so that's it for this.
Yay! And that is it for us, and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.